All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So we are looking at MVIS, AVTX, and ENZC on this video here. And oh man, I hope you can see what I talk about on every single video. All right, I don't care what the four letters are. MVIS is for this one, whatever it is on for the next one, right? Look, bad things happen under the 8 and the 20. The 8 and the 20. Bad things happen when you're under it. Then, once that light switch flips and all of a sudden you're over the 8 and the 20, things start to happen that are better. Okay? And look, I like a stock that knows what to do over the lines. You clearly see, even if you know what to do, bad things will still happen under it. But yeah, we're once again trying to make this run, all right? And you know I'm not a fanboy, I'm not a crazy hype dude. Like we're gonna keep things realistic, and I'm gonna give a couple thoughts and opinions here. But overall, step one is get over some lines, all right? Going into AVTX, man, AVTX has just this inability to drop two good green candles in a row. It's rather frustrating, and all I keep saying on my last few videos is we're at bounce or die. We're at bounce or die. And it's crazy that the die hasn't even really confirmed much. You know what I mean? So we'll talk about that one. And then ENZC. All right. This is definitely a passion stock, to say the least. I'm really surprised better things didn't happen a month-ish ago when they dropped their news. But again, kind of like Mavis, it seems like things are turning around a bit. But before we go any further and to give you more of my thoughts and opinions on these, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to this channel, share this video online with your friends, comment good or bad. Look, anything you can do helps me so much with these YouTube algorithms. But for real, just being here, giving me your time, having these conversations with me, I can't thank you enough for it all right? So Mavis, let's get into it. And fun fact, I don't know if you remember watching this back in the day, but we actually did a vote of how to pronounce this, whether it was MVIS or Mavis, and it seemed like Mavis was the winner, so that is why I call it that, all right? So one thing I really like to do whenever I look at a stock is just zoom out and get history. And you don't have to zoom out a lot to see the history here, all right? When a stock knows how to stay over the 8 moving average, when a stock knows how to break all 5 lines and run, when a stock knows how to do good things when the moving averages are its friend, that makes me excited, all right? Don't get me wrong. I know bad things can happen even to a stock that does a good run like this, right? Because yeah, end of the day, it's a two-sided coin, right? You cannot only look at the good side. But what I like is if it did it once, it might be able to do it again, all right? And the important word is might. There is no guarantee that if it can do it once, it can and for sure will do it again. However, I do start to believe just a little bit more when a good uptrend isn't the first one. When I know, dude, May wasn't that long ago. Don't get me wrong, it's not like it was September or October, but May was not that long ago. It wasn't that long ago that it knew how to break moving averages, all right? So coming into where we're at, and I guess before we come into it, one more time, why do bad things happen under the 8 and the 20? First off, I'll tell you, I don't know, right? It's not like I woke up one day and made up these lines, or I am not here pretending to be smart enough to know the math behind those lines. No. All I know is when you fall under the 8 and then under the 20, it becomes this impossibility to get over them. You try to get over the 8. When you finally do, the 20 slaps you down. You try to get over the 8. Finally, the 20 slaps you down. Just struggle that whole time just to get over the 8. Finally, you start to hit the 20 for about a month, and then you still go back down, right? Like, these two lines are no joke, okay? we're now at a place where instead of just constantly going down, the 8's starting to go up. And obviously the 8 is roughly speaking, what, 3 times faster than the 20, maybe 2.5-ish. So as this thing goes up, takes just a little bit longer, but eventually this one starts to fall. Like, I like seeing the lines go up. That's an important thing, because otherwise you're just living in the world where they're both going down. And I'm telling you, you obviously see it. You can drop from 6 something all the way down to 2, right? So, immediately, look, you know how it works. Break the 8, go to the 20, break the 20, go to the 50, break the 50 and go to the 100 is the immediate thing that we're going for, right? Try to get over the 50, couldn't do it here. Try to get over the 50, actually can, and we are like a champion bouncing on the 8. Beautiful thing, all right? The one thing I talked about, and so far so good, these two lines are going away from each other, and that's a really good thing. I know it doesn't seem like a big distance, but it is actually enough to make me believe we're going to battle these one at a time, okay? You often hear me say it's really, really hard to break a single line, all right? It is that much harder to break 2 lines when they're super tight from each other, all right? Especially these two. These are the last 2 for a reason. These are very, very hard bosses in a video game, for lack of words, right? And to battle the 100 and then immediately the 200, most stocks can't do that, for real. You need something like this where you can battle the 100, take a little bit of, look, there is enough to close here, the next day close here, the next day close here, maybe even the next day come down a little bit, reset that RSI, and then run, right? You need a little bit of spacing to battle this, to cool off after the battle, and then to prepare yourself for the next battle. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, throw a comment in the video, and I'll give you more details, right? But so far, and again, it still looks like this is actually still coming down. Like come Monday, it actually might be all the way down here, right? So give me the opportunity to battle the 100 by itself, and that's a good thing, all right? End of the day, this is our money line. If this can get over $2.90, if we can get over that, man, it is just green, 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 red, 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 green, 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 green. You know what I mean? I'm going to adjust this line, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to put it to right here. And then I'm going to adjust, damn, I really can't actually. Okay, I am. I'm going to adjust this line, I think, to right here. Okay, so there's a theory I have, all right? What I'm about to tell you is I don't have a lot of factual stuff to show it. There is one ticker that comes to mind, okay? When a stock makes a crazy run up, my assumption is you then go half, and then you go half, all right? Now, what like, okay, Urban One, Urban One, I forgot the 2, U1. Okay, look, this right here, this is a black owned stock. This did really, really well a few years ago during Juneteenth, all right? And what I want to do, take me to the yearly. Let's see if I can see this correct. No, yearly was stupid. Am I, damn, see, sometimes I do. Okay, here we go. This is the first Juneteenth run. Not quite half of it, but you can definitely see the second Juneteenth. And again, you can see April, May, June, right? And it's in that same little end window. It's the same little end window, right? That's the first one. The second one was not as big. The third one was not even as big as the second one, let alone the first one, right? Like things tend to kind of cool, all right? With MVIS, so now let me zoom in. With MVIS, I wouldn't be surprised because again, we were up here for the first one, relatively speaking, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this wasn't the second one. Maybe this is the first one. Maybe the second one will come to about 414. And then, hey, if there's a third one, maybe the third one will come to 3. But I actually do not believe we're going to make the $8 run again. I am not too confident we're going to make the $6 run. I can see this little horizontal kind of stopping things, but come on, if you're at 250 and you go all the way up to 4 something, that's a crazy, crazy run, right? So, you know, I know people don't want to hear some random dude saying, I don't think we're going to go to 8. Trust me, no, everyone wants to hear someone say 8 plus, right? But you know that's not what my videos are for. I think 4 is probably the highest immediate target to put. End of the day, you should not even be thinking about 4 until this 290 line. All right. And remember, 266, this 100 moving average will not be an easy break, but I think that there's a better chance to believe we'll break the 100. I think we'll come up to the 290. I don't know if we'll break it, because just really quickly, I think NASDAQ's going to need to cool down a little bit. Like we have climbed magically high. I think NASDAQ's going to need to come down just a little, like a healthy little bit, right? And I think that might slow down MVIS, because you know I always say if NASDAQ slows down, most technology stock will as well. But overall, the daily has done exactly what it needed to do. Our MACD is actually back in the positive, which is a very, very, very good thing, all right? Let's pick up the volume a little bit. And one thing I know I mentioned on the last video, it was an impossibility to hit the 50 average line when it was way up here. We're now in a better place where we're at least averaging the 50-day average, which is good. Some days a little more, but give or take, we're living on that line, right? So MVIS, I think there's more good than bad here. Again, don't have crazy thoughts just yet. For sure, nothing crazy is going to happen until we get over that 200 moving average line. Let me know your thoughts and opinions, please. Otherwise, let's come into AVTX. And hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe, you know I very much appreciate it, all right? But let's get into it. And things have gotten a little bit different the last few days, all right? So my last video, one thing I mentioned was maybe I was over anticipating how many times we actually hit this line, okay? So one thing I often talk about is you can only hit a line so many times, whether it's up or down, before the line breaks, all right? Generally speaking, 4 or 5 is kind of my number, okay? And we hit the line once, we hit the line twice, and actually, we've only now hit the line 3 times, all right? Even on these ones, none of those hit, okay? So technical hits is actually only 3. My problem was that looked like 1, that kind of looked like 2, that kind of looked like 3, that kind of looked like 4, that kind of looked like 5, that kind of looked like 6, that kind of looked like 7, that now kind of looks like 8. I was very much making hit assumptions, and I don't think that was a very good thing, all right? Nonetheless, man, we are still down here, and it's a bit ridiculous. Look at how bad volume is. We're supposed to be averaging 90 million. We're literally, not even bad, we're 90% lower than that. Right? Like we volume is so bad here, and end of the day, volume is king. Not a lot. If no one is buying, the thing can't go up. And if no one's buying, things become oblivious and things become just oh man, when volume dies, it's actually one of the worst things that can happen to a stock. And dude, we're struggling to get into the double-digit volumes. You know what I mean? So instead of the 90 we're supposed to be at, right? So this kind of reminds me of MVIS in a lot of ways. I really think we need this volume up here to reset itself to down here. All right, and the problem is AVTX needs that to happen like immediately, because you know if we lose that 9-cent line, there is no history below. There is nothing but all-time low black hole vortex that's going to eat 20% and eat 20% and eat 20% and eat 20%. So, man, one thing I talked about was the potential of making an entry at 10 and riding it up to this 12-cent 50 moving average line. I believe it was a little closer to 10, 13 on the last video I made. Yeah, I think it was probably around here on the 20th. Dude, in a lot of ways, it really, really feels like, oh man, I don't even know a good entry place to say. Because on it, like part of me wants to say, okay, wait till 12 and maybe ride it up to 15, 16. That's not too bad. a percentage. Actually, that's actually a 30. I guess that would be my best. Wait for the 50 to break. Hopefully you get in and you can ride that up to the 100 moving average. But man, it almost seems like it's not even worth entering until 17 cents. And I think I even said that on my last video, but this one's tough. I'm telling, like, we are now, like, it's hard for me to believe that we're going to get a positive MACD. It's hard for me, like, there's too much bad down here. There's too much bad up here. Unless this thing decides to drop some crazy news, man, it feels like we're losing this 9-cent line. And I don't have too much more to say. It's kind of been the same thoughts for a quick minute. Where are you? What's your 14? Where's 14 cents at? Oh, that's not even worth it because that's too close to that. Maybe 14 cents will be the magic entry point because, again, the weekly is not going to go too much, right? And hey, realistically, that actually might even come down to 13 come Monday. Hopefully the 100 kind of keeps going down, kind of comes to this 13, and maybe we can justify an entry at 13. I think end of the day, the answer actually is don't get into this until it's over the 100 moving average. You can tell my voice gets sad when I have nothing but sad stuff to say. Like, no one wants some random dude to say bad things about a ticker you like, right? But I would much rather hear some bad news than have someone tell me things are good and watch nothing but bad happen. You know what I mean? So let me know your thoughts and opinions. Otherwise, that's kind of all I got here. And let's look at ENZC. It's been a long time since I've covered this stock, actually, and oh man, right? Like, there's okay, let me take a step back. Let me start with this. I am not here to spread fear. I am not here to tell you to buy or sell. I'm not here to tell you to do anything, all right? I am just giving you an opinion based on as little emotion, as little hopium, as little rah-rah fanboy as possible, all right? And the way I can do that is with these 5 lines, these lower indicators, and then the lines I manually draw, all right? One thing you hear me say on every single video, I'm telling you, I do not care what the 4 letters are. Every single video. Bad things happen under the 8 and the 20. All right. The other thing I actually say is, look, if you can break all 5 lines, you will fly up. If you lose all 5, you will die. And look, at this point, at 4 cents, we fall below all 5. We lose 50% and actually drop below 2 cents. Like, lose all 5 and die is exactly what this stock did, right? And again, I'm not here to spread fear and stuff, but it would have been very easy to hit eject right here because I'm telling you, the last place you want your hard-earned money is below all 5 lines, all right? Now, look, we're still below all 5, don't get me wrong, but there's at least a little bit of hope. But I'm going to be honest about these last 3 days as well, okay? The first thing that catches my eye is down here. The RSI was a 10, okay? That's a low RSI, and as I zoom out, this actually was some of the lowest RSI we've had since June. And obviously June was super low coming into that single digit number, right? But since this little drop, we have been nowhere this low, right? Like, we're at 10 and I mean, none of the line. Did this one hit it? Were we at 10 right here? We're at 13 still, just over, right? So this is the lowest RSI we've seen in a while. To me, it makes sense that if we're this low, we need to come back up just a little bit. We need to kind of get back towards this 50 number. And then this 50 number will determine if we're going to come back down like it does, right? Because I just look at, no, it actually doesn't do it that much here. Interesting. Either way, same thought holds, okay? The next thought is, look, it's the 8 and the 20 that are bad lines. You can't get over the 8, 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 you finally get over the 8, but then the 20 slaps you down. Like, we must close at 0.26, all right? We need a little bit over 2.5 cents for me to really even consider getting in. And the highest I really believe it would go would be this 50 moving average up here at 0.32. Now, again, a single cent is about a 10% move, right? So adding a penny from 2 to 3, that's obviously a good percentage, right? I know no one wants to hear me talk about pennies. Everyone wants this thing to be the like life-changing Lambo thing, right? Nothing good will happen on this stock until we get over 47, 047. All right, we've seen it. The stock knows. Let me just zoom into this little moment right here. Lose all five and die. Obviously, we talked about it. It lost 50% in only a month, right? Break all five and fly. Oh man, the stock basically 3x, a little more than 2x, from 5 to almost 15, right? So the stock, ENZC knows what to do over the lines, and sadly, ENZC knows how to fall victim to below, right? And you know, I like a stock that knows how to play with the lines. It's a really important thing, you know what I mean? The problem just is we're on the wrong side of it. And these, oops, I'm not near it yet. These last few days, I'm actually still not convinced. I'm really not. I think I see more of a very, very low RSI resetting than I see a believe. Now, the one positive thing to kind of talk about is this is actually decent spacing between the moving averages. If we break the 20, there's a really, really good chance we come to the 50. And I kind of implied that when I first mentioned it, right? The spacing between the 50 and the 100 isn't fantastic, but it's actually good enough to where we can battle the 50 by itself, then battle the 100 by itself, then battle the 200 by itself. I like the spacing between the lines matters, and this isn't bad. Like, I don't like it when it's super, super tight like this. When it's super, super tight, it's very, very much like dead man's terror. You never know, right? That's a doable moving average movement. You know what I mean? Again, I'm just not quite a believer just yet. Get me over the 20, I'll start to believe, and then really start marching towards your 50, and obviously I'll start to believe, right? But where are we in terms of the stock? Oh man, I have no lines down here. Oh, and it's very much shady trading right here. What does this little moment look like? Let me see if there's a line worth drawing here. And I'll tell you what I mean by shady trading in a second. Okay, so look, on this random day that I click, the volume was 0, right? If you look at the box over there towards the end, volume was 100 now, 0. Like that's shady, insignificant, no real movement. All right, yeah, it looks like there's some actual volume here. We can draw some lines. Let's maybe make a couple more lines. I think that's going to be an important one, and I think that's going to be an important one. I don't think I need to draw any other ones. Yeah, I think that's it I got for this video, actually. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. Look, I am not here to talk about the like potential life-saving pipeline of like amazing, like, believe me when I say I have bought stocks that I thought were going to change the world only to be, you know, not driving a Lamborghini or not living on the hills of Beverly Hills. You know what I mean? So don't let the future hype dictate what you do today. And I know that kind of sounds counterintuitive of what the stock market's supposed to be, right? But oh man, a lot needs to happen before ENZC changes the world, if you know what I mean. All right, let me know your thoughts and opinions. Otherwise, as always, hey, thank you.